The concept of detoxing is not well accepted by the medical community, but I do have practitioners, naturopaths, chiropractors, herbalists, yoga therapists, even some traditional Chinese medicine practitioners that do or suggest detoxing on a regular basis. In Ayurveda or yoga, it's usually suggested that you detox before the change of season. And that's to hallmark to the body the new harvest or the new activity that's going to be done in the new season. For example, the stuff that you do in the summertime is not necessarily the same stuff you do in the wintertime. In Chicago now, it's still sunny and there isn't any, well, hardly any cloud cover yet, but obviously with my earmuffs and my gloves, you can tell it's cold. It's about 40 to 50 degrees, 40 with wind. But nature says it's still the same old thing that's going on. That's why I wanted to talk about detox in the front of this pond. This is an ecosystem that supports itself. So if there's a poison or a toxin that's introduced to this ecosystem, whether it's pesticides along the banks or spraying for West Nile virus, or even change of certain fish species. When there's a change in the ecosystem by an introduction of toxins, usually this whole ecosystem is so great at balancing itself out that it will take care of the toxin exposure. Unless you overload the system with way too many toxins. So that's the beauty of this ecosystem. Now the human body can be also considered an ecosystem. There are more bacteria in the human body than there are, at least chromosomal bacteria in the human body outnumber the chromosomal bacteria of human DNA. So it just goes to show you that there's more to you than just your cells. And in many cases, when you make a change in lifestyle, meaning activity, thinking, or eating, then the cells will go through a little bit of a change. They'll experience a change, but they'll usually adapt quickly. I think the detox will make it more of it'll make the patient or the person that's going through the change, it'll make the change resonate with them so that they can accept it fully and wholly. So anybody that's been through a detox, usually if you go to your local Whole Foods or Fruitful Yield, most detoxes in a box will be 7 to 14 days, sometimes 21 days. And here's a word of caution, because if you take any prescription medicines, when you go through that long of a time period, say 21 days of a detox, you are going to effectively change the way the systems work in your body. That's digestive system, the urine, the breathing system, the cardiovascular system. So the blood, the lungs, the heart, and the bowels, and the urine, or the pee. If you make changes to those systems, you can also effectively change the absorption or excretion of certain prescription medicines. So you have to be very careful. You always have to ask your doctor about what they would think about going through a detox. But again, as I mentioned when I first started, most Western medicine doctors don't like detoxing. If you think about detoxing as, say, a religious fast, if you've ever done no meat on Sunday or no meat on Friday fast, it's easy, right? If you do it for a whole week, it is a little challenging, but it should be doable. Sometimes these cleansers that you'll find in boxes are take 2 pills in the morning, take 2 pills at night. They're real easy. But because they do make an effective change, it's important to try to get the most of it. So at that point in time, during the 7 to 14 days, again, I don't like 21, it's too long in my opinion, but during the 7 to 14 days of a detox, if you also go through a bit of a fast, that means getting ready to get rid of your caffeine, your gluten, your pesticides, your GMO, your wheat, your dairy, whatever you decide, if you can kind of go through, you might be able to assimilate that change a lot easier. So the suggestion again would be to plan for the change. If you are approaching, if we're going to go through a detox this weekend, a couple of days from now, and you haven't planned about what you're going to be relying on as far as eating, or what you're going to be craving for and satisfying the crave for when you don't have those bad things that you're trying to get rid of, you're going to be trying to think and problem solve during a time period when your brain is already going through the withdrawal stages of your food or your chemical or your tobacco or your alcohol or your coffee, and it's going to be too hard to kind of problem solve at that point in time. So the suggestion is you plan out ahead. In fact, if you plan out to go through an elimination diet or a restrictive diet during those 7 to 14 days, why not, in my opinion, plan out what you're going to be doing after you go through your detox, after you successfully make it through your detox, whether it's 7 or 14 days, and then it daisy chains you into the Atkins, the Pritkin, the Ornish, the South Beach. If it gets you into those diets, why not plan even after that? So my usual suggestion is you detox 7 to 14 days. You daisy chain into some new dietary change. Hopefully you've made a lifestyle change on a positive note because you're getting older and you want to take on going through a national park hike, or doing a half marathon or a marathon, or trying to lose weight or get off of tobacco, for example. If you're doing that on a positive note, great. If you're doing it on a negative note where your doctor says you change now or you go through bypass, you change now or you die in 4 months from a cancer of some sort, those are negative feedback inspirations. And usually when the problem is, it is inspiring when somebody threatens you with surgery or medicines, but after the threat is gone, then usually the inspiration is gone and then you go back to your bad ways. And this is why I usually say that if you subscribe to a dietary regime, Seattle Suttons, Weight Watchers, it's important that you continue with the subscription, or you plan to continue with the subscription, because the longevity or sustainability of that change, nutritional change, is usually built into the mechanism of the subscription, or staying in contact with somebody. The books that you'll read on the Atkins, Pritkin, Ornish, South Beach, Zone, Volumetrics, pH balanced diet, macronutrient diet, all of those concepts are made by, they've all been invented by authors who have well thought about how to get somebody to change. So if you're going through something that you watched on YouTube and you're trying to implement that to make the change after you go through this detox, the likelihood of success is going to be low. And according to the work by Chris Gardner, most people who take on a nutritional challenge like those diets I just mentioned will usually fail or return to the weight gain that they had before the program at the end of 12 months. That's important to note. When you make a change, if you haven't fully invested yourself in the information by that author or by that subscription service, the likelihood of you gaining that weight that you lost is very high at the end of 12 months. And not only did you go through suffering, but you also put your body through some very bad restrictions, or very tough restrictions, and that's stressful on the body. In the end, you're going to hurt yourself, in my opinion. So it is important that you plan ahead. It's important that you seek out the help of a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, a coach, a lifestyle coach, even somebody to help you with activities, or somebody to help you with meditation and grounding. I think it's very important to get all three. Thinking, eating, activity has always been my triplet of the anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And I do think that if, for whatever reason, whether it's a negative or a positive reason to change, take that inspiration you have right now and go 110% into it. Don't just do piecemeal because this is all you can afford, or you don't have enough time, or you don't like going on a treadmill because it's boring. Those are all excuses, and they might be valid, but again, for whatever reason that you are feeling the need to change, it's going to get worse next year because you're only going to get older. Or those problems that you had from this year are going to be there next year, or they may come back again in the season of the winter time. But bottom line is, our ecosystem, just like this ecosystem, if it's taken care of properly, it maintains itself for a century to a millennium. if we maintain ourselves properly, we'll be able to get to hopefully 90 years of age without many medicines and not too many surgeries. But with modern medicine and my colleagues in the specialty services, we might be able to get you past your heart attack, past your cancer resection, past your bypass, but you'll be living like a vegetable, and it won't be fun, and you'll be depressed, you'll be on more medicines, you'll have more medical problems. So again, if you can get yourself to the point where you're just functioning and you're effortlessly feeling like you're one with nature, then better for you.